Govardhana, Hare Krishna Manasi Ganga, Hare Krishna Madhuri Radhe, Hare Krishna Yogadish, Hare Krishna Ashta Sukeshwari Justin, Gayatri, Ram,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this morning's session is extremely important because although we're eternal, we have a limited number of opportunities to give our full attention to Krishna. And giving our full attention to Krishna is the prescriptive method for coming back to our real life. It's as if our soul has gone into exile and I'm moving on with a false sense of self in this material world, doing business as a certain kind of body. But I'm always ashamed and I'm always guilty and worried and full of fear, says the Bhagavatam, because I've forgotten my true identity. I have one dharma, and that is to serve Krishna. And when I'm connected to that dharma, then I naturally feel productive, happy, unashamed, full of integrity. So japa is the method by which we perfectly align with Krishna. It's recommended by all the great acharyas. So let's take a minute just to recite the Buddha Shuddhi, which is an aligning statement. It's good to start before chanting with remembering who we are. And it goes like this. I am by nature the eternal servant of Krishna, but by misfortune, due to being inimical towards him since time immemorial, I have been wandering within the cycle of birth and death in the material world, being burnt by the threefold miseries. Now, as a result of some unimaginable good fortune, by the mercy of my spiritual master, I know that I am an infinitesimal, living being completely apart from the gross and subtle body. Now, by the order of my spiritual master, I have obtained the good fortune of serving his lotus feet as well as the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya or a Shudra, nor am I a brahmachari, householder, vanaprastha, or sannyasi. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. Now let's just take one moment to take in your mind and then into your heart some gratitude for Krishna. It may be that Krishna is giving you your life. He's giving you the opportunity in this lifetime to take to the process of devotional service, or he's the air that you're breathing right now. But just take 30 seconds to make a consideration in gratitude for anything Krishna is giving you. Aksharanitai's got it. I can see on his face. Some gratitude. And now, out of gratitude for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva who appear in the Kali Yuga. In this Kali Yuga, it's not just the Yuga avatar who comes to this world, but It's Krishna himself to distribute the Prem Sankirtan. And we're very, very fortunate to have this opportunity, have a very limited amount of time in this life. It goes by within a blink of an eye. So out of gratitude for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let's say the Panchatattva mantra, and then we'll go forthwith into the chanting of the Hare Kṛṣṇa Maha mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Tannama Rupa Charitari Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasanamana Yoja Tishtambraje Tananuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayed Akilamitu Padesha Saram. Rupa Goswami explains how natural it is for our Krishna consciousness to progress just by continuing the process of hearing, chanting, etc. And we can notice the laws of nature in this world, that they move by the highest power, Krishna. In the Gita, Krishna talks about how nature is moving by his direction. Prakriti krayamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. The example that is in the light of the Bhagavat from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And when there's a pregnancy, it comes to term. And whenever the baby's ready to come out, that it just comes out. And you can't stop it. The woman will have contractions, and then it's predictable. And at a certain time, then the baby's going to be born, and then the baby knows what to do when he comes out of or she comes out of the womb, and is automatically engaged. And in a similar way, in our spiritual practice, everything's under the control of Krishna. It will happen one step after another by continuing the process of devotional service. And even if we don't continue the process of devotional service, it will continue, except albeit perhaps a little slower. And therefore, the Shastras give us some parameters here that says make a not to-do list. We have to-do lists, chant this, come to that. But we should also try to not impede the progress of our natural awakening of devotional service, which will happen all by Krishna's mercy. And it'll happen perfectly, and it'll happen at the right time. And if we go on, as we go on chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa, then it's very natural that our Krishna consciousness will awaken step by step by the force of the spiritual energy that's coming from Krishna. No question about it. Absolutely certain, 100%. So we have to be patient, and we have to continue with the process and be very, very confident that everything will happen by Krishna's arrangement at the right time. And this absorption that you're all dedicating yourself to, that's a weird way to say it, the way that you're dedicating yourself to getting absorbed in chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa is a sure way of success for everybody. Doesn't matter what your present condition is. It doesn't matter which combination of complexities you're dealing with in your life. Everybody has them. The process of devotional service and of chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa, it will be absolutely 100% effective. So you have to continue, despite the fact that you're walking a gauntlet in the material world, where you're being harassed at every step on all sides by the mind and by all the miseries that come naturally with the material world. They come to every single living being from the time that you're in the womb till the time that you're leaving your physical body. That's for sure. And as far as my gratitude goes, I was feeling grateful to all of you, because you intentionally came here today to chant Hare Kṛṣṇa. You know all these things. Otherwise, why would you be here? And it's a very powerful experience to be in Sangha and with everybody chanting together. So I was feeling the combined spiritual determination that's coming out of this screen somehow or other. Let's take a couple more reflections. Shweta Manjari.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. I actually had a quick question. So when we give something to the holy name, an anxiety or a confusion, we give it to Krishna. Are we meant to just stop thinking about it then and just go on with our devotional process as best as we know how and expect and pray that Krishna will give us the intelligence? Or are we supposed to give it to Krishna and then also, I mean, I guess if you're confused and you don't know how to act, like, is there something else we're supposed to do along with that?
Well, we do the best we can with with what we have at every moment. When you're dealing with the complexities of the material world, you try to get the best information you can and then make the best decision you can. And in that process, also depend on Krishna. So if you're chanting Hare Krishna, it's very likely Krishna is giving you good intelligence, how to deal with it in the proper way. For instance, if you write a letter to somebody and you're not sure if you should send it or not because you don't know what the effect will be, uh, chant on it. Wait a day, wait or 2 days, and pray to Krishna. Is this the right thing? And see what kind of intelligence he gives you. We're always guided by Krishna in any case, but when we're chanting Hare Krishna, our intelligence becomes more clear and defined. So both things have to be there. That is, do your due diligence, get as much information as you can about any particular situation. If you don't know what, if you don't know what to do when you're trying to make a decision, it's likely you don't have enough information yet. So that's your part. Try to find out more, interview a couple more people about what happened and what you're supposed to do about it. And at the same time, pray to Krishna, and he'll give you a sign how to move forward. Thanks, Shweta Manjari. Couple more. Amodavardhana.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I just wanted to appreciate the not to-do list. After you discussed it this past weekend, yesterday I made a not to-do list, and it felt oddly empowering that I was taking control of the bad habits that I have in my life. And today I woke up with a refreshed sense of spiritual energy to not do my not to-do list. And at the same time, after making my not to-do list, it became quite evident how much of a evil nemesis our mobile devices are. And I was wondering if you have any suggestions on how do we overcome Maya, which is in the pockets or palms of our hands 24/7, and how can we be more regulated in our use of technology?
Yes. So since technology is ubiquitous and it's in our pockets, be very deliberate. This is the point. My point about not scrolling is it's random. Don't be random, be deliberate. In fact, years and years ago, I read an article in a magazine called TV Guide. That was before pocket devices and everything. And it was still a problem back then because people would sit down in front of their television and they just watch whatever was on. And then as soon as channel changers came out, a little device where you could switch the channel sitting in your chair across the room, then people would just endlessly keep pushing the button. And so this article talked about how to control that, which was decide ahead of time what you're going to watch and why. And then if you go on to the and this was for secular people, not for devotees. So it's not like we're so eager to expose ourselves to television or any of those things. But the point is, if you regulate something and that means being deliberate about it, don't be random. So the problem with the device we keep in our pocket is the eye just wants to get engaged in some random thing, and it calls you to do that. So if you, for instance, if you have a specific reason to go on, then do that. And if there are specific things you can mine out of that huge pile of randomness that say, this is something I'm working on. For instance, maybe there's some things about how to be articulate. Pick all those things and put them in a separate file somewhere else. So then when that habit, that urge comes up, like, I have to look at the thing, like, okay, only look at this because you already decided this is what you're going to look at. This is what I'm cultivating something because there's a specific skill I'm trying to develop, but go here. Don't just go to the random side. And when you get used to that, then your mind becomes more and more disciplined. And if you don't have some parameter and it just goes at the whim of your mind, then your mind becomes more and more flabby. And then when you try to chant, it's just randomness. There's no sense of control of the mind, or what Krishna describes as Vaisesika Dasa, or the fixed intelligence. So that's my suggestion. And then, of course, other obvious things are available because it's a pandemic. Anywhere you go, you can watch people. Even when I go for my early morning walk, I walk along and there's a beautiful sunset coming up, and then I notice people walking down the street looking at their phone, and they miss the whole thing. And at every airport in the waiting lounge, 99.9% of the people are looking at their phone, and it's just their heads dunked right into that little abyss. There's no little abyss. It dunked into the abyss. So don't be one of those people. Be very deliberate about what you do and deliberate ahead of time. What is it that what I benefit from this thing? And if you can do that, do it. And also have restricted time limit for, how long you're going to use it. Those are a couple tips, or a general principle anyway. One last reflection.
There's a question in the chat.
A question in the chat. This is a big day. Will you read it, please?
Okay. This is a question we got from someone watching a past Japa Jolt session on YouTube. Hare Kṛṣṇa, this may seem like a silly question, but how does one get so fast at the repetitions without feeling hurried? I'm slower and feel calmer with a slower pace. Is that a beginner thing?
Well, the way you go fast at anything in any practice that requires mechanics is to go slow first and be very deliberate. And this is what my Madanga teacher once told me, go slow to go fast. So the first thing you start with in playing Madanga is Teraketa. And if you, as a beginner, you start Teraketa, you'll mess it up and you'll always be messed up. But if you start Teraketa, 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 and you stay slow and you keep doing that, then after a while, it's kind of natural that you're doing it right slow, then you can do it faster and faster and faster in the right way. So that there is a mechanics to your chanting, and you have to be very deliberate. And one of the ways that you can help yourself on a regular basis to make sure that you're not doing it incorrectly is to record yourself chanting. It can be a little scary because anytime we look at ourselves more carefully, we might feel, oh no, it's daunting to look at yourself and see what you're actually doing. But it's helpful, and it's a courageous thing to do. Record yourself chanting one round and then listen back to it in your leisure time when you're having breakfast or something, and notice, is there any fault in this? And then you can repair it. If you don't listen, you can't repair it. People who do sports, they film themselves and they say, how was my triple jump today? Did I miss the mark? When did I start? 2 inches too soon, 2 inches too late. So be a professional and look at it really carefully and see how you can improve it. And then it's possible that you can go a little faster and still be contemplative while you're doing it, because a lot of it has to do with the motor skill, and then it's combined with how much you can concentrate while you're doing it. Thank you, everybody. Fantastic session. Please keep whatever gratitude you cultivated in your heart, and try keeping the transcendental vibration going, and do make a not to do list. It's extremely powerful, and it gives you some guardrails on your path, so that when your mind goes, oh, I'll just do this now because I'm tired, or I feel I'm in the mode of ignorance, then you have your list there that says, no, not that, let's do something else more productive. And it may feel like a struggle, but that's the tapasya that leads you to a focused mind, and that leads to better japa, which leads to everything good. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, If you so desire, please bless everybody who joined Japa Jolt today, either on the Zoom or on Facebook or wherever else it's broadcast. Everybody who thought about joining Japa Jolt today, everyone who joined Japa Jolt today and they left their camera on, everyone who joined Japa Jolt today didn't leave their camera on, that they may always think of the holy names throughout the day and take shelter of Krishna by chanting the holy names, his holy names. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please give an appropriate emoji to express your feelings at this point. In Kali Yuga, our Sanskrit is emojis. Hari Abo. Thank you, everybody. Vanchakalpadrishya, Kripa Sindhubevaja, Patitanam, Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha, Anantakoti Vaishnavini Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Haribo. Kirtaniya Sada Hari.